Hello there. So what we're going to look at is a song that only uses two chords. You need an E chord and a B7 chord. So if you don't know those, I'm going to show you them. And then we need one strumming pattern on this side, and you can play this entire song with just those things. So this is Dance the Night Away by the Mavericks. I can remember hearing this on the radio a lot in the mid-90s. And it was one of those first songs that I heard guitar in, and I thought, that's pretty cool. So you need an E chord. So make sure you've got that shape. Now you need a B7 chord. But what I don't want you to do is this. Think, right, I'll have to go find a B7 chord, take this off, do this. Don't think like that. I'm going to show you a wee handy trick to go from an E to a B7 chord in case you don't know this. So form your E chord. That should be reasonably comfortable. Then what I want you to do is leave the middle finger where it is, but take the other guys off, okay? Just a little bit, take them away. But this finger's already where it needs to be for the next chord, so just leave them sitting there. First finger will go on the first fret of the next string. So you've got this little shape now. Third finger will go on the second fret of the next string. So you have this little group of guys now. You don't need to do anything with that second string, and the little finger goes on the second fret of the first string. So that's a B7, and try and leave out the big thick string there. So instead of thinking of this, E, B7, E, B7, don't think of those as separate things. Think of them as very similar shapes on the neck, and try to minimize the amount of movement you do with those fingers. And with B7, I always associate these three guys in a row, all in the second fret, with, you'll notice, a string in between. And then the first finger just has to take care of that one on the fourth string. So what I want you to do is get those shapes reasonably comfortable and just learn to change between them with not too much movement. And once you're more comfortable with that, just add a strum. And you see if you can get that comfortable first. So I'll just give you a wee tip for when you're doing the B7 chord, okay? So the chord before it, E, you can play all the strings. When you play the B7, we're trying to not let that big thick string ring out, because if it does, it'll sound a bit muddy and not quite as clear as we want this chord to sound. So a little handy trick you can learn, which you can apply to lots of situations when this string isn't needed, is the back of that middle finger is actually nudging that string where your nail would be. So it means that it doesn't come out, it's just going to be muted like that. So if you can, when you're changing between the chords, when you're on the B7, just don't even worry if you accidentally or deliberately nudge against that string. It's actually very handy. And if you look, a lot of the time I might actually be hitting that string, but because it's muted out here, it's not going to sound bad. Now then, what we're going to do is work on a certain strumming pattern, and this means that the arm will be doing one thing the whole time. Your strumming arm will just be doing this all the time. So if you hold down an E chord, the strumming pattern you have to do is this. That's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Or if you get used to counting it, which is a very good skill to have, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or basically that arm just moves all the time. So that's all that arm will have to do. But the tricky bit about guitar playing is the different things that these hands do and coordinating it at the same time. So what we're going to try and do here is learn to keep that arm going no matter what this side's doing, okay? Even if the chords on this side aren't comfortable for you and are in fact downright messy, don't worry about it. Train that arm to keep going, okay? So I'll play the song again for a wee minute just to let you hear what it's going to sound like. That's the whole song for however long the song is. I don't think it's too long. So what you're doing is the pattern once on each chord and then continuously doing that over and over again. So it's on the E chord and then you go to the B7 chord and do the exact same thing. But we don't want that annoying gap in there, do we? We want your guitar playing to sound like real music. I know that's one of the biggest things that can be encouraging to a player, that when you play something it sounds like music, okay? So you're going to force that arm to keep going and try and change over this side. But importantly, try and keep that middle finger stuck there, okay? Trust me, this will help with the change between those two shapes if you learn to keep that middle finger there. So keep it going. Now, let's talk about speed. So you might be thinking, well, what speed do I play it at? The speed that you should play things at is the speed you can think about things, okay? If you're making a total mess of it trying to do this, that doesn't sound like music. Not good music anyway. So you don't want to do that. If you have to do it this slow to get it coordinated, then that's fine. Go real slow. If that's all you can manage, or even slower, don't worry about it. That is way better to practice than the other messy way I showed you where I was doing this. You know, that's just going to annoy you and anyone listening to it. Okay, so hope you get the gist of things here. Keep the strumming arm going no matter what, and sometimes that's going to want to stop as you fix things over here. Do not stop, keep it going. So hypothetically, let's say I was, you know, not as proficient as I am now, and I was trying to practice this. What if I made a total mess of it, this side, but I keep this going? Let's see what it would sound like. It sounds better than this. And you know why? Because the rhythm is more important. Keep this going all the time and it will sort of still sound like the song, and it will still sound like music. Something that you or someone else can tap their foot or their hand to. That's very important, okay? So keep this going no matter how messy that side is. Now we'll do some play-alongs with each other. So I'm going to do it at a pretty slow speed here. Now, if this is still too fast for you, don't be too disappointed with yourself or anything. Just try it, okay? Or if you can't do it now, come back to it. So we'll play it together reasonably slow for a wee minute here. So after 4. Now let's try play along with each other again, but I'm just going to bump up the speed a bit, okay? So you can listen to it first and then try it, or you can try and get stuck in with me straight away. So a bit faster, after 4. Let's go faster again, so this will be approaching more the speed of the song itself. After 4. let's do one more with each other. So I'm going to make this fairly fast, and this should pretty much sound like the song itself in terms of speed, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. So I hope you enjoyed that. This is a good one for getting your guitar playing to sound like proper music. That's a big thing, okay? So this is a good one to practice for getting some chord changing fundamentals down, or if you just want a song to be able to sound like the song itself. So give the video a like, subscribe for some more videos, because I'll be putting tons up here in future.